Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning, please.
Yeah, boss. Okay. How many of us are here?
We can hear you, Hafiz.
Okay, good. So I just asked the question. How many of us are here? Like I could only view 13 participants. Oh, good. So we also have our attendees on board, right?
Okay, welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome. Good morning.
Okay, so let's allow more people to join.
Yeah, so I just have a question. So I need to know if you can hear me clearly, and I need to know also if other members, the speakers, are also on board. I need to know so that by the time we get to the rule of order, we can always call them and get to do the next.
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Please, if you cannot hear clearly, send a message to the chat. But if you can hear clearly, you can simply type 111 in the chat so that we know that you can hear us clearly.
Fantastic. Very important. Before we go live, are we live already?
Yes, we are live. We are live on YouTube. So
that's sweet.
So yes, I can see 111 from Isa, Olayemi, Ajani Omolola. That's great. Yeah, Precious, you're welcome. Aisha, thank you. Dolapo, everybody, thank you for joining. Mr. Latunji, you're welcome. So, yes, I'm with you.
The screen to just page one. Put it in page one.
Okay.
Yeah, put it in page one. Yeah, let's do it on page one. Correct.
Is it okay? It's okay now, right?
No. The page one, like the welcome page.
Okay, the welcome page.
Yes, just
okay. Just 1 minute. Okay. Is that fine? Mr. Hafiz? Okay. Welcome, everybody. Mr. Amos, Mr. Oluwatoyin Babatunde, Mr. Solomon Ame. Thank you all for joining. If you are having difficulties hearing us, let us know. Welcome, Ekanem. Mr. Ekanem, you're welcome. Okay, Mr. Hafiz, once you are ready, you have the floor. We can start. We have about 21 participants right now, and I want to believe more will join. A reminder will be sent to everybody now.
Yeah, that's nice and good to know. Good morning, everyone. My name is Apiz Adebimpe. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm glad to be the host for this orientation program. We have our speaker already for this event also. But to start with, let me quickly do a brief introduction of our personnel for the day. Can we have the profile of our speakers, or you just wanted to mention their names?
Mr. Hafiz, to save time, kindly just mention their names and the course or courses they take if you have that information. Can you hear what Hafiz is saying?
No, it's not saying anything.
Okay, Hafiz, we can't hear you again from this end.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, we have speaker for our orientation program today, which is Breakout. She's also a lecturer with ICANN Online Tutors. Also, we have on the list of speaker for today is Abdul Wahab. He's also a lecturer with ICANN Online Tutors, a core lecturer indeed. We have also, as part of our co-speaker for today, Abdul Wasiu, and lastly on the list, the powerful lady, Indo G6. I call her ID. She's also a lecturer with ICANN Online Tutors. I welcome you all to this program for today, and I can assure you it's going to be an interesting event for all of us. To start with, we will start by opening remarks from our CEO in the person of Ridwanullah Layeni. Over to you, Ridwanullah Layeni.
Thank you so much, Hafiz. Thanks for the short introduction. I welcome you all professional colleagues, whether you have started as a student or you are about to join in the race to becoming a chartered accountant. I commend you for taking this bold step of becoming a chartered accountant. There's no doubt that chartered accountants play a significant role today in businesses, countries, and economies at large. Globally, accountants are sought after. You have indeed made the right choice of becoming a chartered accountant, and we will help you in doing this. I would like to tell you the importance of online learning. Online learning has come to stay, and the global pandemic that started in the late 2019 has made us realize its importance and its benefits. While it is important for people to come and learn online for a number of reasons, which one of them is the global pandemic we were struck with in 2019 that forced most of us to stay at home in 2020. It is also important to let us know that insecurity has become a global issue. And while we allow our government to fight insecurity and bring stability and sanity back into our community, it is important also that we restrict our movement. While I cannot overemphasize what we do here at ICANN Online Tutors, I believe the news have gone around through many students that have successfully passed through our classes, and many more that are still going through our classes, and thereby referring us to their friends, families, and colleagues. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all my team members, the tutors, the admin staff, and others who put in tremendous efforts in ensuring that students are well taught and are well prepared for the ICANN exams. Let me assure you all, this is going to be a thought-provoking lecture. And at the end of this seminar, you will thank us for organizing this event. I welcome you all once again to this session, and I wish you all beneficial knowledge, retentive memory, and success in your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ridwan Laimi, for your welcome address. Well said. It's not a news that ICANN Online Tutors has come to stay. I think this is our third year in giving quality lectures to our students online. Uh, During the course of this seminar, we'll let you know what we can do apart from just giving a lecture online. We also have video materials. We also have online soft copy materials for your use. Uh, Next on the agenda is to discuss an important topic. And the person to do that for us is Indogist. And what's the topic? Pathway to ICANN success at a touch. Pathway to ICANN success as a touch. Many people often ask the question, why do people feel ICANN exam? ICANN exam is too hard. Is it that they are not getting it right? Even though there are best students in their various institutions, they come to ICANN and they still fail their exam. Why are we failing this ICANN exam? It's a problem to many of us. But today we are going to get the true answer to it. And to do justice to that is our speaker, Indojisit. Over to you, Mrs. Indojisit. Thank you and God bless you. We are to speak on the topic pathway to ICANN success at the touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to today's orientation program. My name is Didoin Sidekanem, and I'll be speaking on the pathway to success in ICANN. That's passing ICANN exams at a touch. The reason why I'll be able to speak on this is because I wrote ICANN exams once. That's the skills level, and I passed all my papers. I also wrote the November exams, and I passed all my papers. That's all of these in the same year. So it's very possible for one to write ICANN exams and you pass at a touch in one setting. Okay, it might be difficult, but that is difficult doesn't mean it is impossible. Okay, so first of all, I'll begin with we'll talk about how to understand a topic, because one of the important things, in fact, someone says to pass ICANN, you need two things. One is time, another is for you to be able to read, okay? Being able to read, assimilate, remember, and pen everything down. So all of these has to do with your mental processes, of which there are specific guidelines. There are also things that one would learn that will help you to be able to work on your IQ. So how can one understand a topic? Of course, in every course, we have series of topics and subtopics. So how do you understand a topic? The first thing is, before you come for a class, okay, you should read through a particular topic. Okay, so for example, we are having IS 16, the first class tomorrow. That's property, plant, and equipment. That's for financial reporting. As a student, you go through the course, the topic first, just go through it. Now it gives you an edge. You're familiar with what the lecturer is going to present in the class. Okay. And not just that, you come prepared with areas that you may not have understood one or two things. Okay, so now you now be able to okay, I was reading this in my study pack and I was not able to understand this. I didn't know how, okay, well, the reason why 1 + 1 should be equals to 5. So now it gives you an edge. And another is that when you're in class, you should have a notebook to help you take notes from the lecturer. Of course, this is an online class, but then it is a class. The only difference is that all of us are not in the same room. But of course, you can hear the lecturer speaking, and you can also, the board is there, which is your screen. Okay, so there is this temptation to, because nobody is seeing us, so you might be on bed or you're between one thing or the other in the house, and then you want to juggle both of them together, multitasking, but it's not advisable. Okay, because some of us would think, okay, I can still watch the video later on and all of those, but just like you do inside the classroom, it's important you pay attention, have your notebook. So the same way you'll be in a class, and as you are studying, you are jotting down what the lecturer is saying. You do the same thing while in the class. And then it's also very important that you revise the topic that you've been taught immediately. Okay, that immediately is subjective. For some persons, it could be immediately after the class, some could be that same day. But at least within 2 days, you should go through what you have been taught already. Now, this helps you. If you do that immediately, you will be able to retain more information and what you've been taught in class. So emphasis is on immediately. Emphasis is on immediately. And then understanding a topic, I would advise that as you're scanning through, first of all, you go through your pack first. You use your pack first before additional study materials. Now, some of the mistakes people do is that we go reading all sorts of things. In fact, when I was writing the exams, you see materials from different states of the country, and as some then I mean, in fact, there was a time I was, I like reading. Okay, so any book I see, I'll pick up and read. So I saw one book on standard, that's for financial reporting, and I picked up the book to read. Now, I didn't know that this textbook I'm reading is an Indian textbook, okay, and their treatment is somehow different from what we're doing in IFRS. Now, I even read an American book too, and American, they're not using IFRS, they're using US GAAP. So at some point, I was asking myself, so why is IS2 not inventory in this particular um, textbook I'm seeing? And it's another different standard. And then sometimes I realized that some of the books I was reading were actually even outdated. So it's advisable that first of all, you go through with your pack. Now, your pack lets you know the areas that you're expected to cover in a particular course, in a particular topic. So you scan through first before the class. It gives you an age, and then it helps you understand better. And then I'll also talk about the essence of assignments. The essence of assignments. Now, I know some persons will always say, I'll do it, it's not important. Or you could say, I'll do it later. In ICANN, there is no later, because later can be, before you know it, that later will be in the exams hall. Okay, so assignment is very, very important. It's very, very important. Now, assignment is usually more tasky. Usually very tasky.
Kindly let's hold on for how to join
Oh,
back.
sorry. So
Okay,
please,
she's back.
can we hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, ID.
Okay. So assignments are usually tasky, in a way. For example, in the class, like we know, they'll say the example we are given even in the park. Say 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. And then in the exam, so you see 1ab raised to power q minus qp raised to power x and all of those. So assignments usually multi-tasking, okay? And then while you are given questions from past questions, that's icon adapted questions. Okay, it tests your understanding of the topic. Okay, it tests your understanding of the topic, how you've been able to assimilate the different rules and processes in that particular topic. Okay, and it also enables you to research for more information. Enables you to research for more information. And then it also helps you to practice over and over again what you've learned in class. So we know that practice makes perfect. When you keep practicing what you've learned in class now, it sticks more. Okay, it sticks more in your memory. So when you solve when you practice any question, okay, you have experience and you have confidence. Now, there's this thing we say in ICANN that the more questions you solve in preparation for ICANN exams, the more confidence you get. So when you get to the exams hall, they don't need to repeat the question for you to know what to do. But because you've been studying different questions, okay, you will be able to have an idea of where this question is coming from and what the examiner expects you to do. So the more questions you solve, the more confidence you get. In fact, there is this whenever you're solving past question and then you get the answer and you'll say, this icon is not even hard now. It's not me that scored this, you know. So that's because you keep doing your assignments. And in IoT, we have lecturers. Our lecturers attend to students. So when you do your assignment, you now submit. Okay, the lecturer will now post the solutions. And where you had missed it, you'll be able to see where you missed it and then correct yourself. You can even ask questions. Okay, why is it that 2 plus 2 was equals to 10? Okay, and the advantage assignment has is that you don't see the solution. So because one of the mistakes we make as students is maybe by making use of the past questions, would say, okay, uh, you saw the figure 500,000. So you wouldn't even want to reason how did they get this 500,000. First thing you go and look at the solution, you know, and then that's how you keep reading. But it's different. There's a difference between reading and actually doing it yourself. No, what my lecturer used to say, there's you can know something in your brain, but the ability to transfer what you have in your brain to your hands is usually a challenge. So most students that don't do well in the exams, it's not as if they did not read, okay? But sometimes they've not even tried and made an attempt to close the book and try solving it like that, or answering the questions like that without looking at the solution. So assignments gives you that age, you practice and you practice. And our examples and questions and assignments here in IoT are actually examinable questions. So whenever you see ICANN brings up a question, you'll be able to beat your chest, you know, knowing that you'll be able to attempt it. So I'll also talk about cross examination studying. This is I'll divide it into two parts. That's personal and general. General means either between you and a friend or a group of people. So I'll start with the personal cross examination. Now, what I usually do is after reading, okay, you could set questions for yourself, or you look for a question in that topic. As it could be this for theoretical courses and for practical courses, and then see how you can answer those questions on your own without looking at any solution, without, you know, as if you're in the exam hall. Of course, you will not remember what you read. You won't remember the answer. And then at that point, you now know that, you know, because when you are reading, you feel you can remember what you've read for 20 years. But 10 minutes after then, you know, you have to look for ways of how you can struggle to remember what you've read. But when you cross-examine yourself, I read this topic, okay, I choose inventory. What is inventory? And I try to write it down, okay, write it down as if I am in the exams hall. Now, that process of writing down the answers, it will stick. As you're writing down the answers and you're making mistakes, it will stick. So after you finish maybe like 5 questions, and then you now go back to your study material to check if you are correct. You now mark yourself. They now try it again. Okay, so now we are just like you're in the exams hall. If I was in the exams hall, how would I have answered this question? Now you test your accuracy and you also test your speed. The general one is when you have to, you are talking with a friend. Okay, so you ask yourself questions: what is inventory? What is the principle of this? What is the concept behind this? And all of those. Now, most times in the exams hall, what we remember is what we say and the analogies that is being used. Okay, so you now tell yourself, okay, inventory is this one, is that one, and this, and your friend will tell you, you've made a mistake. You've not used the word, a particular word, and you correct yourself. So the same thing goes with a group study. You cross-examine. Cross-examination means you research, you investigate, try to find the root cause, okay, of something. So, and also for every topic, it's advisable that you dig deep. Okay, you read to understand. First of all, one of the things most people do in ICANN is to read to pass. But I think it's preferable you read to understand, because when you understand, using your own analogies, because whenever I read, okay, I form my own analogies that's to fit into my everyday life. So for example, data and information, I find a way to bring that data is unprocessed information. Information is data has been processed. So I look at it as, okay, raw materials and finished goods. Okay, I look at it as I want to make soup, afang soup. So going to the market to buy afang leaf, buy meat, buy maggi, buy salt, is the raw material. That's data. So when I have gone to the process of preparing the meat, spicing it up, and then I cook it, now what I have to eat now is the real afang soup with Gary, and then that is information, which is something that can be used. But the way I bought it in the market cannot be used like that. So with that now, anytime I see any question on that data and information, I'll be able to do something about it. I won't have to start trying to remember how cramming, trying to remember the how I had crammed the definition of data and information. It just comes. Okay, so when you have that kind of with your friends, it really helps as well. And it's also important that as you are reading, you are writing. You try to summarize what you've read. Okay, I read that this. You don't really need to cram, but first understand before you now try to pick the jargons. Okay. Then IoT as a success factor. Now, one of the secrets of passing ICANN exam, like I said, is time and studying. So time management, how you can manage your time, and then there's different studying techniques. So one of the things that, the IoT, that's ICANN Online Tutors, has been able to offer students is the luxury of time. Because we don't have the luxury of time and space. That's because we have a lot of things to do, our jobs, family, and other social responsibilities. So we cannot, we have to think of how you have to travel to a particular place for exams. In fact, when we're writing the exams, most persons will have to go to a particular state. And it was like, if you're not in that state, you cannot write the exams and pass. That's because of, they said, okay, the center is good. So how about us that we don't have that leverage, that proximity? Okay, so it's difficult, but IoT has been able to bridge that gap. Okay, so it offers you a convenient learning opportunity. So you stay in your house or in your office or wherever you are, and then you participate in the class life. So you can ask questions. Our classes are not pre-recorded. You ask questions. Okay, how did we have this? How did we have that? And then you receive explanations. And for people who may have missed the live class, you have the video that you can listen to afterwards. Okay, and whenever you have a question, we have a forum, we have a class, we have the classroom where you can send in your questions, and then the lecturers will attend to you. So even if, in class are usually very interactive. Like someone will say, okay, in my office, this is what happened. Okay, can we say that it is the same thing as, can we say that this particular principle, this particular standard can be applied? So IoT is made up of a team of highly qualified tutors with professional teaching experiences. Yes. just that we didn't read through, we didn't read the profiles of all our speakers. IOT has a team of highly qualified tutors that have professional teaching experiences. And then these tutors also have what we call real life experience. They have practical experiences. They're all working in different sectors, in different, top levels in their different organizations. So in the class, we don't just teach what is in the pack. You relate it to real life experiences. Okay, you relate it to what is obtainable in real life practice. So as you're learning as a student, you're also already getting some form of, should I say, IT? Okay, so you can be able to know that, okay, in an audit, this thing I'm seeing in my book, if I'm going for an audit exercise, this is how it is, usually implemented. So they have rich real work-life experience, and then they bring their wealth of experience to you in the class. Okay, so IOT also prioritizes student-teacher relationship. That is why we have every course has a chat room, has a WhatsApp room, WhatsApp class, where after the class, you can still send in your questions. Maybe you were solving a particular question you saw somewhere, and you were wondering, how is it that we had 2 + 2 is equals to 10? How is that possible? You send the question to the class, and then the tutor will now respond. Now, your question and the explanation benefits all the students. So you don't just get videos, buy videos, and then you don't have access to the tutor. No, you have access to your lecturers, sending question, and then you reported, answered accordingly. And then the materials that I used for our classes are actually very rich. I mean, there was a time I was prepared for a particular class, and someone asked me, all this, you are reading all these textbooks for just one topic, all these materials for just, I mean, you have to, get this book, get that material, source for this material, buy this one, because the aim is so that what you are being given in class is rich enough. You understand? It's rich enough. So we do all the research for you. We go in here, get based on our experience, those as tutors, as people who had once been ICANN students. Okay, we know those areas are actually very tricky and how students can be able to tackle it. And then, like I said before, the examples used, the assignments are usually, so you won't have to get 1 + 1 is equals to 2. Like people say, in the pack, they'll give you 1 + 1. But when you get to the exam hall now, the question alone will be more than 2 pages, we do all of those, we make all those research, the important points, we bring it into the class, and then we now teach, give exams. So that gives you an advantage. You have an idea of how these questions are usually being set, especially for people who are writing the exams for the first time, who have not, you've not had that encounter before. So that's why using past questions, the advantage is not that I will repeat the questions. Students should not be after, let's look at these questions, I can repeat it. I had a couple of students, I know some ICANN students who they always concerned about this question here was given in 2016. I can repeat questions a lot. So, they all after, in fact, I think they're even cramming past questions because I can repeat questions. So instead of using the time to study, to know the techniques, to know the procedures, they were all after, I can repeat this question. I can repeat this. And funny enough, that's diet. I can did not repeat any, in fact, as if they brought a new a new team to set the exams question, because I could see their faces in the exams. It was tough. Okay, so the essence is not for you to say principles. If you know that 1 + 1 is equals to 2, you know how, you understand how and why 1 + 1 is equals to 2, you will have very little issues. And then you also have access to the lecture videos, even when you had missed the class. I think my time is up, so I'll have to stop here. Thank you very much. We have a question and answer session, and I'll still be available to answer any question that is being asked. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ikanem. To the question.
Okay, so we will take questions now. So in order to ensure that there's orderliness, you can raise your hand or send your question to the chat. So kindly raise your hand or send your chat, or if you want me to unmute you also, you can send a message to the chat. I would unmute you. Okay, somebody has raised his hand. So Achille, I will ask you to unmute now and ask your question. Yeah, Achille, kindly check. I've asked you to unmute. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. So Chisom, you are next in line. Achille, are you there? Before I ask Chisom. Okay, Achille is not. So Chisom, I will go on with you. So I've asked you to unmute yourself now. Chisom.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My
Morning.
question is my question relates to how to pass ICANN in a system. Actually, this is not my first. Actually, my third writing the script data. I've been having issues with.
It doesn't have good food. That one is better, Jeff.
Okay, did you get the question?
So she has been having issues with reading. I don't know if the question is complete or if she was just cut off.
Okay, Chisom, can you please repeat yourself?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
So
can.
you're having issues with reading.
Yes, I'm having issues with reading online materials like soft copies.
Okay.
Yeah, is there any way
Okay.
better to do that or any measures? Because my work demands me working and I can either switch to my computer to read what is on my desktop, instead of reading from hard copy. I really want to like switch to reading a soft copy instead of hard copy. Is there any other way to do that?
Is there any way you can read better with soft copy, or
Yes.
if you prefer
Yes,
reading
that is
with
my
okay,
question.
read better with soft copy?
Yes, yes.
Okay, the reason why I'm using soft copy, is it because it's more convenient?
Not really. Number one is more convenient. Number two is not being able to, convey my study pack to workplace off and on, like carrying my study pack to work, coming back with my study pack at home,
Okay.
the mobility of carrying my study pack and all that. I can actually print some of those things. But then if there's a way I can improve in reading soft copy, I don't know if it's personal or if there's something else I can do to improve in that.
Okay. Reading soft copy the materials. Okay, I don't one of the things I would suggest is if you can have two materials, the one you keep in the office and the one you have at home, or you schedule that. Okay, you'll be doing for example, if you're writing skills, I'll be reading financial reporting in the office while I read performance management at home. So financial reporting pack stays in the office, like let's say for a week or two. Okay, while you now have so in the office I'm reading financial reporting and public sector, while at home I'm reading corporate corporate strategic management and ethics and PM. Since because I know that some persons don't enjoy reading soft copy. Okay, for me, I read both, but there's sometimes that I'm tired of reading soft copies because of my eyes. So I'll switch to hard copies, hard copy materials. So you can keep, like I said, you could just make that schedule, keep some in the office, then keep some at home. So if you're at home, you will read. If you're in the office, you have something to read. Okay, your question was just specifically about about the soft copy, or do you need
Yes.
general reading techniques? Okay, just the
And
soft copy issue.
no, I would like general reading techniques, please. I would
Okay,
love that. Yeah.
okay. So what I told people was, whenever I tell people, I covered all my study packs before the exams. Like I read through from the first page to the last page before the exams. In fact, I was doing the second round before time for exam arrived. So like I would always say, you have a timetable based on your work schedule. You know how many chapters you can read in a day. Of course, ICANN exam has to do with lots of sacrifice. We have to sacrifice time and other activities. So you have a timetable. For example, we have Monday, we have Tuesday, we have Wednesday, we have Thursday, we have Friday. Okay. Then you're writing 5 papers in skills. Monday is FR. Tuesday is PSA. Wednesday can be CSME. Thursday audit. Friday PM. Okay. This is for example, like I said, the timetable is I usually construct it for people based on their needs, their schedules, and the courses. So you have 5 papers you're writing. So I would say Monday, FR, Tuesday. Now, as I'm reading this Monday, maybe I can read 2 chapters a day. So I know how many months I need to start preparing. Thank God this rotation program is coming up in January. So we have February, March, April, 3 months. Okay. So I'll look at how many chapters do I have in my FR pack. Okay, let me say I give myself 2 months because of my schedule. I read two chapters every day. Now, as I'm reading, the way I read, as I'm reading, I read as if I will never come back to that topic again. Because we always say, please, I'll come back. There's still time. I'll come back to this topic later. Before you know it, you've kept 10 topics that you come back to later. When you have other topics to read. So as I'm reading, I'm writing. Inventory is this, inventory is this. Okay, I jot it down. So at some point, I had summarized notes of all my study packs. Like my 80 leave exercise was filled with writing. So when I am going to work now, I carry that small material. Maybe I'm going for a program somewhere. I just put the book inside, and I'll just open and go through one chapter. Okay, I'll just go through and then. Okay, this is what this one. No, like I said, these things takes when you look at it over and over again. So for Saturday and Sunday, like I said, it depends on your schedule. I take it as revision day, where I revise everything I've done throughout the week. I revise Saturday and Sunday. And then for next week Monday now, which is my FR, before I start reading the next chapter, I will revise the chapters I've read in the previous week. Okay, I will start from the beginning, to go through what I've read. Okay, before I start writing the summary for the new one. Now, what this happens is that even if I'm reading chapter 10, before I start chapter 10, I will revise chapter 1 to 9, which I have done a jotting in my own book. So now this makes chapter, because the issue we usually have I remember when I called my senior colleague, I was almost in there. I told this guy, how will I remember the things I read? These packs are too much. Like, I'm not even sure I can remember the things I read last month. And he said, that means you are reading, for you to be that concerned. So it helps you remember the things you've read, because you keep revising. I remember in my advanced taxation exams, as I just entered the exams hall and I saw the questions. Now, the second question that was one of the elective questions was the chapter 1 of the study pack. We tend to ignore those first 5 chapters. I mean, they will not remember. And then the last chapters in the pack, who will even go there? It's too far. But because every time I want to read advanced tax, I start reading my summary from the first page, as if I just saw my book wide open in front of me, and I was just smiling and I was writing.
ID, please take it easy. You can get some water, please. Hope you are okay. We can't hear you anymore. Yeah, please take some water.
Yes, I have water here. Okay, so in class, I was already, I just saw what I've done in class already, and it was easier for me. So revising what you've done. So like we say now, sometimes in the office, you may not be able to open your study pack, but the previous study you've done and the summary you have. So even if you are going for a ceremony, a burial ceremony, or even you're in traffic, you are going to work. Before I reach my office, I've read 2 pages, like I've glanced through 2 pages, and then with that it sticks. So that's one of the things I do, having a reading timetable, having a schedule that you follow. Or you may not do chapter by chapter, you could do number of pages. So every day I should read 25 pages of, maybe if it's a theoretical, because there are some chapters that are so bulky, and I'll ask myself, this one is more than the target I gave myself. Okay, I'll answer, okay, I'll read 25. And then for some persons that have short attention span, now, if I tell people I have short attention span, they will not believe it. How did you have, and then you were able to write the exams and you cleared all the papers? That's because I'll tell myself, okay, I'll read for 30 minutes, or at some point I was able to read for 1 hour at a go. That's in one sitting. So I don't like sitting down in one place for a long time, doing one thing for more than 2 hours. So I'll now tell myself, okay, I'm reading this for 30 minutes. I'll stand up and do 1 or 2 things, and then I come back. Okay. For someone like me, I can't read at night. So when people go for night class, I was not going for night class. In fact, they were even asking me, are you sure you are preparing for this exam? So I said, if I read in the night, so you just find what works best for you. Some persons can read in a noisy environment, but I can't even read where somebody is, where they are doing like carpentry work, or someone is sweeping. That's how how I need absolute silence. Okay, some persons can read when there's music, they can multitask. So you find what works for you, and then you now be able to make that schedule for yourself. The other thing is, you have a schedule every day. These chapters I'm going to read. Don't try to read all the courses in one day. You get, so you can split it. You can do 2 courses in a day, or you just do 1 course per day. Like I've said, just 1 course per day. Have your targets: 2 chapters, 1 chapter, 3 chapters, 4 chapters, based on the number of time you have. Then remember the summary you are reading, you are jotting down. Read as if you'll never come back to that topic. Then the summary is what you now use, in between. Maybe you went to visit a friend and you are waiting for someone. Instead of pressing your phone while waiting for someone to arrive, you now bring out just your 60 leaves now, and then just be going through. Just be looking at it before you know it. Just like some of us, the songs that we know how to sing, it's not because we went to browse the lyrics, but because we've been hearing the song. Maybe you went to market, you heard the song was being played. You're on your way to work, your song was being played. At home, radio, the song is being played. Before you know it, now you start singing the song unconsciously. That's because you've been hearing and hearing and hearing again. So that's why it's important to have the summary notes, where you just be looking at it every time before you start. You revise the previous ones, and before you know it, whenever someone asks you a question on any topic in the part, you will have an idea of what to say. At some point, I was able to tell somebody, this question you're asking me is in this chapter, is in this topic. I was able to do all of those. So you could find, for example, in the pack, a whole lot of, maybe there's a diagram, or there is a lot of you don't like, just write the page number. So if the diagram for life cycle model now, I'll just put the page 112. So when I'm going through life cycle model, I just say, okay, it's in this page. So either I use my pack and I open and check, or I just open the soft copy. So in audit, for example, there's this last few chapters. We're talking about the the report. So I cannot jot down how to present audit report and all of those. So I'll just put the page, audit report page 133. And then I'll just open but it helps me not to go around with my pack. So I'm going to visit somebody, I know that, I'll be able to glance at 1 or 2 pages. So then this self-examination too, it also helps. As we finish reading, try to see if you can remember. Of course, you will not remember, so don't be frustrated. Sometimes at some point, I'll now ask myself, who even sent me? Because I'm trying to recall what you've read, but it's a normal thing. But as time goes on, you'll be able to, remember. So that is it. Don't know if there's any other question.
Thank you so much, ID. So we just take one more question, after which we need to move very fast to the next thing on the agenda. So please make the answer very brief. Thank you. Idris Ibrahim Mohammed, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, good day.
Yeah, good day, Idris. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, hear me. Okay.
Yeah,
I was going through your videos, your YouTube videos, the management information, and then you see like this slide that you have. The slide is a bit, at least it's a bit readable, and then it's very nice, the white and blue colors. I don't know whether you can change your slides. Like the slide is very dull looking, and then when you're doing the videos, it was just like a class. So I'm just new to this program, so it's not like taking me off. I got to a point that I noticed I understand most of the things, but it was very challenging as a new person to now see. The slide was just like, okay, it's a class. But when you're doing this kind of slide on YouTube, you're supposed to know that somebody new is coming. So no remembering of, because there was a class that management information. She was saying that there was a time she taught this. So I was like, I'm not in that class now. So I don't know it's just a view, it's not a question. And then to that lady that just finished asking the question, I just want to chip up something. I believe there is this YouTube free mobile in the network. So maybe by 11 to 6, I think, I don't know if it's MTN is very good. I used to use it. So it's a very good something. Somebody can watch a video every day, and then it's very good. So that's all. I just said, let me add up this.
Thank you, Idris Ibrahim. Let me give response to that. With regards to the slides, it's a function of who is presenting, right? So some people will present it clear, while some will shorten, but that is well noted. The management will work on that when we are about to project our classes. Thank you very much. Also, you talk about on that. Don't forget that it's supposed to be a earlier class for the going class. But your point is noted, and we are going to work on it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Hafiz.
you.
Let me quickly add to that. So, Idris, as regards the screen being blurry, could also be an issue from your end. In the sense that maybe you didn't select the right quality. You can actually select the quality you want on YouTube. So you can actually go to the settings for that video or in your YouTube and select a higher quality. So if you select a higher quality, you would see the screen better, it will project better. But however, I will still look into it. Then secondly, as regards your the total asking that you had already taught that in the previous class, that's because you didn't enroll for the class. That's why you didn't know what the tutor had sent. That video was just to let people know just to let them have a feel of how our classes are. So it's not really a class like that for everyone. We just made a particular video free so that you can have a feel of how our class is. So if actually you had enrolled for the class, you would have watched that video ahead of that one. So I hope you understand. Thank you so much for your feedback. So we take.
Thank you, everyone. I think.
Yeah. So I think if you have any other question, you can send it to the chat. Maybe at the end of the session, but we need to move on for
We
now.
need to
Thank you
move
so
on.
much,
We
everybody.
need to move on. Thank you very much for your audience. We must say we really appreciate. As a credit to our first presenter, the first speaker, she is the ICANN Prize winner in Advanced Auditing and Assurance. Our speaker, who is also a tutor with ICANN Online, is an experienced lecturer with ICANN, with ANAN and ACCA program. It's a plus to her. And lastly, she is the chief accountant of Taraba Business School in Nigeria. ID, cheers to you. What a good one.
Thank you, sir.
You are most welcome. Pleasure to have you as part of my team member. Uh, the next presentation will be coming from our ICANN online user. I'm glad to tell you that she is one of our students at the time, and she's also the chief speaker for this seminar program in the person of Barakat Osuolale. Barakat Osuolale will be giving us a tips or a kind of story around how she passed her ICANN class in one sitting. Barakat Osuolale, you are to discuss with us how I pass all papers at a touch with ICANN Online tutors. Share your experience with us. Thank you. Is she there? Okay. If she's not there, I think I even missed one speaker who is Yoda Abdulwasi. Mr.
I think she's
Abdulwasi, are
here.
you
I think Barakat is here.
there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, I think let's take it by the order we have on our screen. Apologies, Baraka.
Okay.
Abdulwas in discussing with us about IoT video, a panacea to I.
Okay, Yanda.
Abdulwas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yoda Abdulwasiu, and I will be talking about the word appealing to ICANN exam using the word the ICANN video. And first of all, let me also give you a little what experience I have with what on learning through video as well, because I can remember when I was writing exam then. I'm still in school then. So what I usually do then is to download video. And the video that I usually use then is to what I can still remember is what LSB, that's London School of Business and Finance. Because so what I would just do then is just to download them. And once you download it, I have a tab that I'm still using now, and I have to put everything there. So it's a very good way of learning, honestly. It's not because it's not because I'm working with what organization that is engaging in that, but I'm also using my own personal perspective as well. Because if you have any concern, oh, maybe during the class you miss some things or these, you can easily go back to it and really learn. So the key thing here is it's just about the time to really sit down. Okay, these are some of the video that was on this particular topic. If you understand, you can rewatch it at any time. But maybe sometime, maybe in a physical class, man, I can ask a question as well. But that may be the end of it after the class. But through a video learning, you still have the opportunity of still going back to some of the things that you have learned before. And that is really, and in at least in IoT, all the classes are recorded. So if you have maybe you have anything at there's an aspect that you didn't understand, you can come back to can easily come back to it and learn it again. And it's also a big advantage to the lecturer as well, in terms of we can use that to even assess ourselves that, oh, this class, how did I really perform? You can listen to yourself again as well. And that is also like a second tier of having a feedback of how you able to deliver how you able to deliver the class. So all the classes is recorded. You can have access to it at any time. So what you just need to do, maybe you can download it at one of, then instead of what having to go back, because the video are uploaded in what in YouTube. So instead of what engaging in what in extra course, just to download it one off and what keep it in the what maybe in your laptop or in your what on your phone. So it's a very, very good way to what it's a very, very good way to learn with video. Even when there was an exam that I was trying to what to take them, I was talking to someone in what is not in Pakistan. That, okay, I don't even need to what to attend the live, but can I have the record of it? And he was starting me like, okay, how many dollars do I need to pay? And I have to pay for it because I don't have what any alternative. I don't even have the time because during the weekend as well, I also have engagement I'm doing as well. So the only way I can do that is through the what is through the video, and which is really what which is really good that you can use to what you can use to learn. So what you just need to try as much as possible to do, have a media, have a what a separate folder that you keep some of this thing. And if you have any question at any time, you can easily relate to some of the what lecture if you still need a further explanation. Maybe during the class you didn't get it very well. So that's it. And thank you very much. I think I was given about 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Yanda. That was thoughtful of you, considering the time. So, and I believe you guys and you got the information. So I don't know, is Barakat ready now? So, or if she's not ready, you can take one or two questions for Mr. Yanda. So Barakat, let's see if you are ready. I've asked you to unmute now, so let me know if you are ready.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm ready.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, so Barakat, thanks for coming. So let me quickly introduce Barakat Osholale to you guys. She was one of our students in the May 2022 diet, where she wrote 5 papers. Then it was 5 papers at the foundation level, and she aced all 5 of them at once. So we brought her here as a guest speaker so that she can share her experience with you on how she passed all papers at a touch with IOT. So Barakat, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yusholali Barakat. When I wanted to write my foundation May diet 2021, then it was during this pandemic, after the pandemic, and I was looking for classes that I want to go for. So I stumbled upon IOT class, and also an architectural student, I have zero knowledge of accounting. So I watched their YouTube videos online, and it was really helpful. And most of the lecturers, they really helped a lot. They are very competent, patient with the students, and most of the questions we asked are really explained well. And most times when they give assignments, I make sure I do all the assignment they give us. And I set a timetable for myself. That was why I was able to pass all my 5 papers in one sitting. And I don't know, it was
Okay. Thank you so much, Barakat. I think, yeah, maybe she's a bit shy. So, Mr. Hafiz, please, you have the floor. Mr. Hafiz, we can't hear you. Ridwan, can you hear Mr.
Can you hear me
Hafiz?
now?
Okay, I think we can hear you now.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Baraka, Coach Olale. From her voice, you can see that she's a little bit naive. She's new into this.
Mr. Hafiz.
Next
Okay.
on the agenda, is another interesting topic which should be taken by Olatunji. Mr. Olatunji. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Olatunji Wahab. I'm one of the facilitators in ICANN Online Tutors. Today, I'm to be discussing on how to maximize the benefits of online learning with IoT. Before discussing on the maximization, how to maximize online learning with IoT, I will have to talk about three major benefits of online learning. While the director, one of the speakers were discussing, I think he made mention or a reference to pandemic, which leads to one of the advantage that this online learning brought about. But before this pandemic, there has been online learning, and students are having benefits, which at the end of the period, they give out kudos to their lecturers by coming out with a great and flying colors. So I'll be discussing on three major benefits here of online learning, then how we are going to maximize these three benefits in order to come out with a better result. At ICANN Online Tutors, we have a competent and qualified lecturers. And I believe with this, if the professional colleagues that are subscribing to ICANN Online Tutors can follow the process and the procedure, so I believe we can all earn the good grades that we are looking towards. So one of the benefits of online learning, which is flexibility. I said I'm talking about three. We have the flexibility, time management, and self-motivation. The flexibility of online learning compared to physical learning cannot be overemphasized, because students prefer to be more convenient and conducive in their learning. So by so doing, the conveniency of all students lied upon how efficiently you can utilize your learning. Most students don't usually feel comfortable while visiting the physical class because of some believe that when there are too much of crowd, they won't have the access to communicate with their lecturer one-on-one. Some may feel shy by asking questions because of other colleagues that they are seeing, not to be seeing them as a true student. But with that, we find out that most students in that manner find it easier by asking questions from their tutors while they are online. So with this, the flexibility on online tutor come about students having their time, having their lecture hour, and timing as well. The comfort of a reading and learning is key to all students. So if I'm not comfortable where I am to study, believe me, whatever you plan to study or to learn will not be achieved for that period. So that's why this flexibility is one of the benefits. Then how can students maximize their flexibility? Number one, you're having the time. There is no too much of busyness. And once there is adequate room and ensure that you're having a sound network system, you can maximize the use of online lecture. And with that, you have your comfort sitting room, you have a very vital network connection, and you have your system with you and your writing material. At your comfort zone, nobody is disturbing you. You can ask as much as possible questions from the tutor. And IOT has made a plan for all the students that are subscribing. And what are the plan? You will have your study material before the class will be introduced. During the class, what has been sent to all the students will have been the same thing that the lecturer will be introducing back to you and expatiating by giving broad explanation to what has been sent to us. And at the end of the lecture period, it is a must that all slides must have questions and answer. And there will be additional practice question that will be added to each topic. Now, how can we now maximize this flexibility? There is no need for moving from one area to the other to study, because your timing has been given to us on the timetable. So with that, after your class, your tutor has given you a scenario, a live examinable scenario questions, solving together, and at the end of the period, minimum of 2 questions will be given to us as a practice question. So there is no excuse. You are so convenient at your place by answering the 2 practice questions that will be given to you, solve the question, submit back to the lecturer, after which the lecturer will have to go through what you have submitted, comment where necessary, and send back the general solution to everyone. So that is one out of the benefit of the online lecture. The second one, which is time management. Time management is key. And putting into rate percentage, we find out that most ICANN students are all working class. In ratio, working class students are up to 70% compared to non-working class students. Then how can we now manage the time, utilize the time effectively by managing your work time with your what? With your study time. This week, while I was coming from work, I entered BRT from Obalende coming to Ojodu Bega. A student was sitting beside me. Believe me, this student was watching ICANN online video. I monitored this student from the entry stage up to the destination. What was the student doing? Put up the earpiece, watching the video, go back to the slide. She has printed the slide. Go back to the slide and compare what she has on the slide and listen to additional explanation from the lecturer. I was touched. I didn't know, maybe this student get this slide from colleagues, or it's one of the previous students, or a newly subscribed student. I don't know how the student got about this material. But what I need to pick point out of this is the time management aspect. What was she trying to do? She was trying to manage both the office time with what? With the study time, because she will have studied her movements and how she will be convenient. It's possible that such students will be getting home late. Then after getting home, you have to do some other activities before you go to bed. So you may not necessarily need to use your home to study. You can also study wherever you are, because we're having a quality videos. So with that, the student was trying to do what? To manage both work time with what? With study time. And I believe that particular student may still have maybe a minimum of 10 or 15 minutes time when he or she gets home to also carry out some practice. You know, inside the what is it called? Motto. She may not have that time to be jotting down or to solve questions. But I believe as she was listening to what has been taught, the previous lecture, she will have gained one or two things that will assist her when she's solving one or two questions. Then the third one, which is the self-motivation. One of my lecturers told me while I was still in secondary school that study is all about interest. If you don't have interest in anything, there is no how you can perform better. And there is no student, ICANN student, that is subscribing to or registering for ICANN exam that is not having the plan to pass. And the end motive is that provided that you have registered for that ICANN, it is a must for you to complete because you have started. Something will be ringing at the back of your memory. I registered. I'm going to pay for the exam. I'm also paying for lecture. So irrespective of how time is running, how I was disturbed at work, I didn't have time at home, you will know how to utilize your time properly. Now, this self-motivation will now come in form of, I've made my payments. I have aim. Instead of writing 5 papers, okay, I understand my level of understanding. So when it comes to writing examination, instead of writing 5 papers, let me write 3 papers. What are you doing? You are trying to motivate yourself. Then out writing these 3 papers, which other way can you motivate yourself is by utilizing your time effectively. And how can you utilize your time effectively? By having a timetable. One of our speakers also make a reference to how to manage your time. You can give yourself a timetable, Monday to Friday. The lecturers are there to explain and give you a tactics on how to pass examination. But the examiner will not be there to write the exam for you. You have to write the exam yourself. So even if I give you all the tactics, explain what you are expected to know to you, you still need to have your personal time to put down what you have studied in your own understanding. ICANN Online is the best among the rest, and all what you need to succeed in your ICANN examination has been put into plan by ICANN Online Tutor. So you can motivate yourself by having adequate time. And again, on the video lectures, it may not be necessary really be that you must attend the physical what is it called, the virtual class. The video are quality than what you expect. It might not necessarily be in the class, but once you have the video lecture of what has been taught, you go through the lecture. At the end of the period, if you have 1 or 2 questions, you can jot it down. ICANN Online create a platform for all students. And the platform, you are all having lecturer, each tutors on each platform. So what you study and what the lecturer has taught you, if you have any other additional questions, you have the platform. Send the question in. If the students are not answering to, if the students are not attending your question, it is a must for the lecturer to respond to your question. So these are the methods, the ways that you can maximize the benefit of online lecture. So to round up this discussion, so I will urge everyone that each week, your instructor typically expects you to take the following actions yourself. And these actions still boil down to the 3 benefits of online learning that I've discussed on before: the flexibility, the time management, and the self-motivation. So what are the expectations of your instructors? Review the learning objectives. You have to review the learning objectives. As I said earlier on, before the lecture period, the tutor will have submitted the topics that he or she will be facilitating in the next class on the platform for everybody to have access to it. And why are the tutor doing this? You are going to have a pre-knowledge of what you are expecting the lecturer to teach you during the weekend. Then secondly, there will be a practice question that you are going to be solving live on the platform. And aside from that, other questions that you'll be expected to attempt on your own will be there. So you will have access to print out some of these questions before the lecture period, so that while the lecturer is picking any of these options, let's assume you are treating an IS 16, property, plant, and equipment, there will be some adjustments to PPE. And all these adjustments, the lecturer will have to break everything with advantage to do what? To state it on the notes, and by following up with the line items. Then after reviewing the learning objectives, the next thing is to complete the assigned readings. You're having a pre-note before the lecture. You can just have a brief reading on such topic. Then when you come to the class, what you'll be expected to be doing is to be having what? Interactions and be relating, because you're having a prior or a bit introduction of what you are expected from the lecturer. So you have to complete the assigned reading yourself before the class. And don't forget that this is one of the benefits of online class, which is what? Self-motivation. You have to motivate yourself. How can I motivate myself? I am having an exam to write. And I think part of what is also one of our facilitators is going to be taking care of here is, how many days are you having left to write the examination? So with that, you know that you're having this exam, so period. And before you know, you'll be looking at it, maybe you're having 3 more months. But before you see, the 3 more months that you are looking at will turn to 3 days. And if you don't start practicing now, it will affect the examination. And for it not to affect it, that's why all this process and the procedures has been put in place by ICANN Online Tutor. Submit assignments. You can see what I'm now mentioning, the conclusion aspect of the online benefit, how to maximize the online learning with IoT, is relating to what? To the 3 online benefits: flexibility, time management, and what? Self-motivation. Submit assignments. Though we understand that most of us do have a limited time to do this, but if we solve more questions, we'll be familiar with most likely questions that examiner will be bringing for us to write in the examination. So by submitting your assignments, firstly, you have shown the benefit of flexibility, time management, and what? Self-motivation. And with that will also encourage your lecturer to do what? To do more. And aside the practice questions that examiner is giving to us, that the facilitator is giving to us, we can go extensively to look for other questions that is relating to the topic that has been treated, whereby you can find some other terms or other items that will be used in other questions. So if you come across this type of items, you can come back to your lecturer. Hello, sir, I found out that there is one particular information in another question. Please, can you briefly explain how this is being treated? So with that, what are you doing? You are motivating yourself, and you are what? You are managing your time. And with all this, you are maximizing the use of what? Benefit of online learning. Then the 4th one that the lecturer, the instructor are expecting from us is that we should go through the lecture materials. And I think I made mention of this earlier on. Let us go through this lecture material. The plan is there. Before the lecture, you will get this material. And the material are not being sent just for you to have it. Have it, go through it. Have a prior knowledge. So once the lecturer is starting, even with the introduction, you may just relax and be listening to the lecturer. But once you add what has not been part of what you have seen, that will raise a what? That will raise question. And once that raise question, you have to pause the lecturer. Please, could you please explain further on this? Then lastly, so you participate in the discussion boards. So I believe this is part of what ICANN Online tutors are doing. After the whole discussion, lecture, solving a question, so there will be a participation period, discussion period. Lecturer, the students ask your question. The lecturer can also ask questions from the students. So thank you for having me. So I believe the objectives that we are all running towards will be achieved by May 2022 diet. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulwasi. That's a brilliant lecture given to us. Thank you very much. The next on the agenda is another beautiful short experience that is to be given to us by Ayokunle Adaraloye. Ayokunle Adaraloye is also one of our students who use ICANN Online as a platform, as a springboard to his ICANN success. The floor is open to you, Ayokunle Adaraloye. Thank you.
Yeah, good day. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I have just 3 minutes to speak on just 45 days with IoT. And really, it was just 45 days. I registered for the skills paper, and I think it was at the beginning of October, and the exam was just in the middle of the month of November. So I'll be sharing some of the tips that assisted me to pass all the 4 courses that I had to write on skills paper at the first attempt. So some of the things I did was, I did the curriculum analysis. And the good thing is that ICANN itself, on their study pack, you will see the percentage, or sorry, the weight of each section of the courses. So it gives me an idea of where the focus should be. The second thing I did was to do the past papers analysis. So I did analysis of the different areas, not the questions, the different areas that are very popular for ICANN to test. So for example, if you are doing financial reporting, you will not miss, most likely you will not miss group accounting or financial statement analysis. So that gave me an idea of areas where I should focus and the frequency of how it's tested. So some are just tested once in a year. So if I've tested it in May, I may just maybe relax on that because I had only 45 days to read 4 courses. So I read Pathfinders a lot. Like I said, I started with Pathfinder, creating the template. So I read Pathfinder a lot. I understood how examiners actually mark the questions. I actually believe accounting is just a process. If you understand the process, then you can understand where to get your cheap marks. And IoT were the ones that brought my attention to this. Most of the facilitators are well equipped on how these are marked. So they point you to it. And when I refer to Pathfinders, I see where I can easily get 1 mark, even if I don't know anything in the question. But I know there's no other question for me to solve. I can easily get 1 mark, even by not knowing the question. Just maybe writing the name of the company, the table, get half mark here, get 1 mark here. So the next thing I did was, in the exam hall, I scribbled my answers. Though they asked us not to write on the paper, maybe you can get a pencil. So by the first time, I look at the questions, question 1 to 7. I look through all the questions before putting my pen to paper. So I look through all the questions. Then I start recollecting what are the answers for each one. Can I do this? If I say I can do this, okay, out of the 3 questions in section B, which one should I go for? I write all the answers for the 3 questions. Then later I now pick which one do I not know in the 3 questions. So if I see that the question I don't know in the 3 questions is the one that has the highest mark, I leave that. I move to the other one. So you have to be strategic in picking your questions and answer. And what would this also do for you? What you know, maybe fresh in your head. Once you get to the exam hall, you see the question, quickly write the points down before they start flying out of your head. Then the other thing I did was IOT when I joined, because they were already rounding up, but they already had lectures pre-recorded. So I took out time to go through all the video lectures from the top. Then it got to a stage where I couldn't afford to go through all the video lectures again. But the ones that I didn't go through were the ones that I attended the classes for. So for example, when I joined, IOT had lectures videos on people that I did in November. They had lecture videos that I did for the people that I did in May, that they uploaded on our own class video site. However, we've not taken those courses in class. So there were some places that I've seen the video already. So I've read ahead of class because IOT provided those videos for me, even though they were not my set. So by the time we were coming to class, it was just more like a revision for me. One of the other things was that I attended all revision classes. For somebody that is joining for 45 days, every time counts. I will advise everybody, though this will not easily apply to you because we are just starting another one. So 45 days criteria should not apply to you. What I also did, but in case you fall into that category, maybe in the future, or you are listening to this conversation and you have 30 days to go, what I also did was I broke down the whole curriculum, 30 days, broke it down, and I had a timetable to attack each section of the curriculum. You might ask, were you able to finish all 4 courses within the 30 days? No, I was not, but I achieved more than 80%. And the 80% I achieved was enough to make me pass all the 4 courses because I was strategic in my reading. There were some areas that I can hardly test, and probably I was only tested once in the last 20 diets. I didn't really bother myself on those ones. But you, because I don't have the luxury of time, luckily for you, you have the luxury of time. But it won't be bad for you to also have a working timetable and stick to it. For you to pass ICANN, you must have 3 things. You must create activity. That's 1. Number 2, you must ensure that you are competent in knowing the basics. Number 3, you must be consistent in your reading. This is a multiplication sign. It is not an addition. If you do activity and you do plus competence and you do plus consistency, you won't get the desired result. Maybe you'll be getting 40 something or you'll be getting less than. It's a multiplication. The 3 things it's required. If you multiply 1 times 0 or you multiply 100 times 0, you get 0. It's consistency, competence, that you know the basics of what you are reading. Once you know the basics, any question that comes in the exam, you might not get the answer. I am sure I didn't get most of the answers I solved. But because I understood the basics, I applied the basics and I created activity, because what you do over and over and over and over again, you will surely excel. So that's it for me. Thank you for your time. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, thank you so much, Ayokunle Adaloye. I think that was very insightful and that was very thought-provoking, and I really appreciate your time. Mr. Afis, are you available to continue? Mr. Afis? Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Ayokunle. It's like Mr. Afis is having some challenges from his side. So before we go ahead, Ayokunle, can you just hold on a minute? Do you have a minute? I think he has left already. Okay, so Idris Ibrahim Mama, they're asking you want to ask questions, so I would unmute you now. So I've unmuted you. Kindly go on. I've asked you to unmute, so unmute yourself and ask your question, Idris Ibrahim.
Okay. Hello, good day.
Yeah, good day.
Yeah, I would like to ask about the last speaker talked about something about Pathfinder. I want him to shed a light on it because I'm somehow new to all this. I don't know what he was talking about Pathfinder. He said something about Pathfinder.
Okay, so the speaker has left, but I can answer that on his behalf. So Pathfinder is the question and answer kit. That's the past questions and answer kit by ICANN. So we call it Pathfinder at the professional level, and it's called Insight at the ATS level. So it's a collection of questions and answer kit. Yeah, so we call it Pathfinder instead of question and answer. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, yes, thank you very much.
So, yeah. Any other question before we continue? Mr. Hafiz, once you're available, kindly unmute yourself so that you won't say I hijacked your session. Mr. Hafiz, can you hear me? Okay, so any other question?
Hello, I'm back. Can you
Okay,
hear me
welcome.
too?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, you didn't hijack my session. No problem. We are working hand in glove to ensure that we give quality seminar to our participants today. The last on the agenda as a topic is anticipating for the success, balancing and the work. So the person to take that is one our able lecturer. Apologies. Let me quickly get in here. Rizwan, can you help me with the name of the person to take that?
Yeah, it's Mr. Amos Unwem.
Oh, fantastic. Mr. Amos Unwem is also one of our brilliant able lecturer, and he will be discussing on the topic anticipating for the success, balancing work and study easily. Over to you, Mr. Amos. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So for 5 minutes, I'll be speaking briefly on balancing work and study easily. For a number of us taking ICANN, we are working professionals. So one of the biggest concerns would always be how do we balance our work and achieve success? So I'm going to speak from my experience and the key tips that have actually helped me over the years to maintain success professionally. ICANN, after I started working in the bank. And ever since then, I've also taken on a number of other qualifications, as well, such as the ACCA, the Certified Internal Auditor, CIA, the Certified Information Systems Auditor, CISA, and the Certified Fraud Examiner. So it shows that it's actually possible to work full-time and achieve success. So what can help us achieve this? For me, one of the first things I ask myself when I want to take your exam or such as ICANN is to try and find out what your why is. What is your strongest motivation for undertaking this professional exam? Is it that you are in a non-financial role, possibly you are a back office operation staff, and you're passionate about financial reporting, you're passionate about auditing, you're passionate about moving into investment, so that motivation pushes you to say, I want to get this right, I want to succeed in this exam. Or is it that your current role, you really don't enjoy that much, and then you feel, I need to move on to a new job. But then when you pick up any advert, one of the first things you see is candidate must be a qualified accountant. So that's the motivation, that's your why. So you need to find out what that why is. So that why is very, very important. It helps propel you to want to be successful. The second thing is, especially after you've made up your mind to say, okay, I want to go for this exam, I ask myself, what's the cost of failure? Am I ready to take that cost of failure? If I'm not ready to take the cost of failure, why not put in all the effort, all the energy that's required to succeed for that exam that I've enrolled in? I want to some of the costs of failure. One is the exam fee. You would have to register, which is expensive. Two is your time commitment. So instead of you to have to get this done, put in all the time, all the resources to get it done in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you find yourself doing it for a number of years. So that's wasted time. A third a cause of failure is the lost time that you would have tapped into benefit. You know this thing to be able to move on to it because you're not putting in the required energy, you're not making the required sacrifice. You find yourself losing on those opportunities. So why I'm mentioning this is because if you have a strong motivation, you need that makes you do that work. Sacrifice. It requires sacrifice on your part. Like we said, nothing easy, nothing good comes that easy. So you need to put in some hard work, especially if you're a working professional. So down to the key tips. So for me, one of the first things I do professional exam is to develop a plan. It's been said a number of times, but I cannot start. One is before you start preparing for your next exam. If you've not done that, after this session, look at the papers you're taking. Look at the study part. Develop a detailed what topics, what sort of cover between now to the exam period that allow me to complete the exam. And in the plan, I see when people miss out the need for question practice. I don't include question practice. Yeah, that's very wrong because question practice enables you to feel yourself in that exam mode. It makes you feel yourself as a student actually taking the exam. And it's important too when you're developing this plan, have a section. So oftentimes I tell people you shouldn't have less than 3 weeks on your plan for question practice. If you have a plan to study for an exam and you have a section for question practice, please you need to look at that plan again and make changes to them because by the time you practice question, puts you in that exam, and it's important to when practicing question to do this other timed condition so that it won't be that it's when you're writing the exam that you're finding yourself in that kind of tense environment for the first time. You would have practiced it, and if you're exceeding the time allocated during your practice, you're able to make certain changes to develop my plan is to look at my circumstance and be able to identify when I'm actually free and I'm able to study. The good thing about IoT, ICANN online tutors, is you have resources, different forms of resources in different forms, really. So you have video lectures, you have audio lectures as well. So for working professionals, sometimes it can be difficult for you to pick up a pack. So you pick up a pack and you're saying 650, 700 pages. It can be frightening. So what can you do? My recommendation, what I always take advantage of video lectures, ensure that you watch lectures based on your plan. And as you watch these lectures, write down notes in your own handwriting. So keep key notes for yourself on things that you would revise. So your keynotes helps you to revise. So because you have this lecture, you don't have to worry too much about being able to complete the whole 600 and something page part. So what you just do is after you watch the lecture, you go back to your part and then scan through your part to be sure that in the part for that subject area. If there are any specific omission or any area, you can then read that particular area. But the focus initially should be on the video lectures and the audio lectures. And as a working professional, it's important to know that you don't have to wait until when you close from work and you've settled to now study. You might get so tired. If you're not working in where you're not front facing, you're not speaking to customers regularly, you can make use of your earpiece, listen to the videos, listen to the audios. You don't have to pay 100% attention to get the content of the most people without any challenge. It's not that they paid very close attention when they were listening to that music. It's because they repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly listen to the music. And as they do, automatically it clicks. So take advantage of it. If you're not front facing, listen to the video over and over. if you're front facing, possibly after your customers have gone, after closing hours, and then you're doing your balancing, your end of day work, have your earpiece on you and listen. Don't worry about whether you will be able to pay attention or something. Just listen, and by the time you do that, and then when you get home, you can try and do a refresher, and then try and look at your part to see if there's anything that was missed out. Something else I want to mention that is really helpful for me is the need to always look at the ICANN professional pathfinder or examiner's report. So that gives you're able to know where the marks are. So how to maximize the marks, where are the easy marks. And then in addition, it helps you understand what the examiner is looking for. So for instance, if you're doing audit, and then the question acts of ethical threat. So some people could just identify ethical threat, okay, there's familiarity threat in this issue. But if you look at the examiner's report or the pathfinder, you see that the examiner will state the threat and also state the reason why that is considered a threat. So there's a mark for stating the reason and there's a mark for just stating the threat. So if you've not looked at the examiner's report, you wouldn't know, or the pathfinder or whatever, you wouldn't know that's what the examiner actually expects you to do in approaching that question. So it's also important that means it's really important to look at the examiner's report and pay close attention and let your motivation propel you to be successful, and you can be sure that you'll be surely successful. So make good use of your division notes. So the notes you've jotted through the weeks prior to the 3 weeks question practice. The last 3 weeks before revision, like I mentioned, to focus more on question practice and focus on revising the notes you jotted down. So don't just jot the note down for jotting's sake. That last 3 weeks or 1 month should be for that purpose, revision, question practice of past questions as well. So with that, I'm very sure you'll be successful. It's something that has really helped me over the years to be successful, working full time. I've been able to complete a number of professional qualifications. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amos, for that brilliant presentation. Thank you very much. The floor is open now for another question and answer from any of our participants. If you have question and answer, if you have any question for us, please put it across so that we can give you answers to them. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. So anybody that has a question should raise his hand.
Yeah, I can see Emmanuel and Lord Kayode. Okay, quickly put forward your question and let's give
okay, so Emmanuel, let me unmute Emmanuel now so that you can ask questions. So Mr. Emmanuel, Ashekwala Emmanuel, you have the floor.
Yeah, good afternoon once again. I would like to know, ICANN seminars, how do they affect, how do they affect your score? Or do they have any effect on your ICANN program? Attending their webinars where you see about them writing 15 points or something like that, do they affect your score in any way?
No.
Thank you.
The answer is no. Emmanuel, the answer is no.
Yes, sir.
The answer is no.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
so
we need to be good with it as much as possible. So there are some questions that require yes, direct yes with explanation. We'll give you. There are some questions that just require no with no explanation. We'll give you. For this question, the answer is no. Thank you. Which one? I don't know if you have one or two comments.
Yes. So I don't know if you are new to ICANN and you want to know more about ICANN. That means you've not registered as a student. You don't know anything about ICANN. You want to know the registration, the cost, and everything. Kindly raise your hand. We are going to have a breakout session now so that you can move to that breakout session and learn more about ICANN. That session will be headed by Mr. Abdulwasi. It's different from this seminar. It's a breakout session. So if you are Yes, okay. Like two people have raised their hand, Yusuf Bakari and okay, so let me create the breakout session quickly. Yeah. Okay. So I'm creating it now. So hold on. So
Yeah,
okay. So
that's good. Please help or mute Yusuf Bakari.
yeah, they will be allowed to join. They'll be allowed to join. A message has been sent to everybody. So if you are interested, kindly join now. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Ridwan, please help or mute Yusuf Bakari. He has question to ask.
Yusuf
Ibrahim
Bakari.
Mohammed Idris
Uh,
also.
okay, before Idris Ibrahim, let's take Baba Ghana Issa. Baba Ghana Issa,
Okay.
please unmute. You can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
My question is this, though it's not even a question, but it's an advice. In the last diet exam, I did the foundation, the foundation exams, and I passed 3 out of the 4. So I have 1 left over. So I decided, because I have only 1 course to write, so I decided to take some courses in skills in preparation for the November diet. So is that advice okay?
Let me take it. Let me take response to that. Well, it's a function of individual. For me, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. If you are sure that the paper that is outstanding, you can do it well after you've studied on your own. It's fine. But if you know that you cannot work together in doing it, I would advise that just go for lecture for that only 1 paper that is outstanding so that you can clear it at home. Then spill over to skills in the next diet by God's grace. Is that fine?
Yes, it's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bakari Yusuf, let's take Bakari Yusuf. Bakari Yusuf, please, over to you. Your question, please. Okay. Ibrahim Idris Mohammed, your question. Unmute yourself and give us your question. Thank you.
Sorry, it's not a question. I wanted to join the group about the new class, so that that's why I raised my hand.
Oh, Billy, Mr. Layeni Udwon, kindly attend to him on that.
Yeah, we have opened the breakout room. Some people have joined, so you can join. You're the person in charge. Will be with you guys shortly.
Yeah. Any other question? I would still love to take 2 to 4 questions before we end this session. It's very important.
Mr.
So let
Ayanda.
me also, okay, is he back now? So let me also add to ICANN Online credit so far. All our tutors have been saying a lot of good things about ICANN Online tutors. Honestly speaking, what they are saying is actually very real. We are not being romantic as to what we can do. We have students that use our platform and they pass their exam in 1 sitting. We have students that have been struggling with ICANN over the years, especially the working class, and they make use of our platform, they pass their exam at a go. Not only that, we are going to provide you with lectures material, from video material to reading material, but we have lecturers with practical knowledge. And that is why it's easier for them to implement what they are doing in practice to teaching. And that is what will help you as an ICANN student. we will not just only teach you the theoretical part of it, but also the general principle that you will need outside the ICANN in practice. So please don't waste time. Just subscribe to our classes. Let us know what you want us to help you with so that come here next diet seminar, you will be one of our guest speakers who will be sharing his or her experience with our next candidates. Thank you and God bless you. Let me take one or two questions before we bring this session to an end. I think no question. No question. Nobody's asking question. I think we are all fine. That's fine. That's brilliant. Uh, Mr. Amos, please give us closing remarks. You are one of our strong lecturers, and I'm glad, man, and myself. Personally,
Hello? Okay.
everybody is doing well. Everybody is doing well. Mr. Amos, over to you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, I want to thank everyone for being part of these steps to be successful in your upcoming ICANN exams. And we can assure you that ICANN online tutors are available to provide all the necessary support, all the necessary resources to help you to be successful in your next exam. In addition to the live video lectures, you would always have an audio version of the lectures. You also have a WhatsApp group as well, where you can drop questions at any point in time, and our tutors will be there to attend to you. We're very supportive, and we look forward to having everyone on board towards this journey to become a chartered accountant. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. If there are any further questions, any clarification, our doors are open. We respond quickly. So you can always send a message to the coordinator. He drop the phone number in the chat. Send a message and then get it back as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amos. Thank you so much for the closing remark. In case you are unable to answer your question, you can always reach admin on 0808 066 5292 or 0818 599 3275. So I will also drop the number there. I'll drop it in the chat. You can also visit our website on www.icanonlinetutors.com or www.icanonlinetutors.com.ng. We are happy to receive your inquiries. Thank you, everybody. So, Prof, are you available? Mr. William Kasali, Prof, are you available to give us a parting shot? Okay, so in the absence of any further question, comments, I think we have spent almost 2 hours now, and we have to bring the session to an end. I really appreciate everybody for joining and participating. Thank you all, and do have a lovely day. So if you want to know more about ICANN as a newbie, kindly join the breakout session. Mr. Yonda is available to start. Kindly join the breakout session. Check the options and go to the breakout rooms. So we are ending this now. So the breakout session happens. I will share the breakout session now. Thank you so much.
And also, I think Mr. Dolapo is raising his hand. I don't know if he has any quick comment.
Okay. Okay, let's quickly take Mr. Dolapo. Okay. Mr. Dolapo, you've been asked
Hello.
one. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to, get together and talk quickly. So the truth of the matter is that there are lots of questions. From my end, I have a lot of questions, right? But it's not something that we can exhaust in one sitting. For me, I've been on this journey for quite a while. So I want to quickly ask among my questions. You have not talked about the modalities of your classes, okay? Because I kind of registered with online tutors last diet, but as usual, I did not get to write the exam. So now I'm at a loss. I'm confused. So I noticed that we didn't quite talk about the modalities of the classes when it's starting for this diet, how we need to, join and all of that. I'd like to be reminded about that so that I can get moving as soon as possible. Then secondly, a lot of people have talked about how they excelled, how they tried to do their best reading, how they combined work. There was a lady that talked about her not being able to read at night. I'm also in that shoe. I work from morning till night. The night time that I have, unfortunately, I cannot use it to read. In as much as I've prayed, I've delivered myself, I've motivated myself. How do we, and then somebody else talked about achieving this thing in 45 days. This person that achieved it in 45 days, was it that he was not working? He had all the time in the world. I am still confused about that. You understand? And I also, as we go on, maybe in class, I would appreciate a lot of encouragement in line with personal reading, personal achievement, because there are times when you solve questions, you get stuck. You don't know who to talk to or ask. It just sounds so easy to hear right now, but I know it's very difficult. So I would just like for us to have more of this kind of meetings, maybe in between, maybe as time goes on, maybe sometime in March, so that it will gel also. Because right now I feel very geared that, oh, yes, I want to. So they did talk about, meeting days, classes days, and all of that. So please, I'd like you to just let us know when classes are starting for this diet. Has it started? When are we joining? Just again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dolapo. I really appreciate your questions and everything. So, firstly, you talked about the modalities, and you said you're one of our students, right?
Yes, but I just bought the videos. In fact, let me not talk about it.
Okay, but you didn't register as Dolapo, right?
I did. Dolapo Akitunde.
Akitunde. Oh, okay.
That name sounds close.
Okay. Oludolapo Akintunde.
Yes.
Okay. And I can see that it seems you even joined early.
Yes,
so
I did.
I want to believe you've started watching the videos.
Off and on. See, I just the classes I want to partake in the classes this time around, because the whole of last diet, I didn't have time for it. And I was saying, okay, I'll be watching the videos, but nah lie, because I'll come back home late. And then the night time that we have, you want to attend to this, you want to just sleep. And there are a lot of lazy people out there too that are passing this thing. How can I as well get it over with? Despite the fact that, there are so many conditions surrounding us.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Dolapo. So number one, don't have the impression that there are so many lazy people passing the exams. I remember vividly in the last seminar we did before this one, I did share that experience that our mates, because she wasn't reading at night, our mates thought that she wasn't reading.
Yes.
So that is until she passed the exam that people will now look at her that how did she pass it. So let me just quickly speak on everything like give you a summary. Number one is that we talked about the modalities, but I don't know, maybe you didn't join
Okay.
early. But let me
Okay.
tell you the parts you need to know is that we are starting the classes. The first online class will be on the 5th. But before then, you'll be giving tasks, and that task will be that you'll be giving. In fact, you started sending information to the groups for those that are in the groups, and that information is that this is the topic. We've done a study plan for you that you will follow. So weekly, the tutors too will follow the study plan. So before that day, you need to go and watch the videos about that topic and learn it. And you will also be given a task, probably an assignment, to work on that topic before that day. So that when you come to class, you are coming with all your doubts, all your questions for it to be answered. So I hope I answered that well.
Yes.
I'm sure you've already gotten the timetable. Our classes are held on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays from 11 a.m. And there's the timetable. Have you gotten the timetable?
Yes. I see it flying around in the group. Yes.
So that's it. So yeah, what other question did you ask? Okay, say the law of lazy people. Okay, how you can pass it.
Encouragement.
Yeah, the tutors will encourage you. Please, Afis, just give me 1 minute. The tutors they will encourage you, they will motivate you, they will mentor you. But don't forget that it is still your duty.
Exactly.
To do the needful. You understand?
Yes.
And you know, one of the tutors, one of the speakers made mention of something that he was in a bus going somewhere, and he saw somebody watching our video.
Yes.
Can you see how that person is maximizing his or her time? You understand? And that's what I also tell people. You understand? Let's say you leave for work by 6. That means maybe you wake up by 5 and leave for work by 6. Now change your wake up time to 4. That means by 5 you are ready for work. Between that 5 and 6 is a good time to read. It's a good time to study. It's a good time to watch our videos. So between that time, your brain is fresh because you just woke up.
Yeah.
You understand? And let's say, for example, you can't wake up by that 4, you can only wake up by 5, and you leave for work by 6. When you are inside the bus, get hands-free, get earpiece, get AirPods, plug it in your ears. Don't mind people that are talking about how Nigeria is bad in the bus. Focus on watching the videos. I tell you, when you get to work also, most of us at work, we have 1 hour. Probably we would have 1 hour for us to, as break time. That's another time. That's another good time to watch the videos. When you are going home, is another good time. When you get home and you start preparing for the next day, just plug your phone to the speaker and start watching and start listening to. Because you are listening to it, you are not watching the videos, does not mean you will not grab what they are saying. Yes, you might not grab 100% at that time, but you will get some of it, maybe 50%, maybe 60%. So by the time you watch the video the second time, you'll be able to grab the remaining 50% or 40%. Somebody gave me a testimony that she took advanced tax last diet with us, and she followed one of the tips we gave her, which is that when she's in her car, she will plug her phone to her Bluetooth and she'll be listening to it. So when she's going from her home to her work, she does that. When she's coming back, she does that. And she passed that exam. So our videos is really recommended. I'm not saying you should not read also, but let the videos be your priority. I can assure you that the videos are comprehensive. The tutors have done a very good job. I can assure you of that. And so it will be helpful. In addition to the videos, what I will tell you to work on is to work on practicing questions. So all the questions they give you, all the assignments they give you, attempt them. It's not compulsory you get them. No, there's no need to be ashamed. That's why I tell students, okay, if you are ashamed to post it on the group, send it personally to the tutors. Or if they cannot take it in their WhatsApp, they will give you an email you can send it to. Nobody is going to spite you for getting any question wrong. You understand? We're all here to learn. So some people will start asking some tutors questions in their DM. I say, post all your questions to the WhatsApp group. Why are we doing that? If you send a message to your tutor personally, only you will learn if he answers that question. But if you send it to the group, others too will learn. So the tutor cannot be attending to everybody individually. You understand what I'm saying? It can't be attending to everybody individually. So there's no shame in it. There's no evil in getting anything wrong. I told my tutors when we had our meeting this year that when I was writing the exam also, the mock exams, only will I get up to 50% in my mock exam. But that doesn't mean I will fail that course.
The main exam.
Because the mock exam is to prepare me to know where my weak point is, to know what I need to work on. So by the time I realized during mock that, these are the areas I'm lacking, and these are the areas that I know I'm already okay, I'll quickly go and work on my weak points. Okay. So that's it. What other question did you ask?
I think you kind of cover everything. Really,
okay, that's very good. So if you have any more questions, you can send a message to the admin. But before we continue, Mr. Fitz, you wanted to say something before we take another question. I can see two other people raising their hands.
Yes, well, I actually want to motivate her, with one word. She needs to personally believe she can do it. There are two stories to ICANN. Some will tell you they passed ICANN in one sitting, and some have been writing ICANN for a very long time. But my sister, believe so much in yourself. One day you will play it, and that day is next diet. That is it. See, ICANN like a boxing match. When you fight a boxing game, it is either you win or you lose. But you are going to lose some fights. You have to play the match because you believe that you're supposed to win this match. Why did you lose? Then you come up with another contract of the match, and that is contract of registering for ICANN again, coming to ICANN online tutors, and believing that next diet is the goal for you. Now, you need to also put yourself to stress, honestly speaking. Maybe for now, no parties. Maybe for now, no arguing out. Just focus on the ICANN. And I can assure you, if you can add additional time to your learning and put everything in the hands of God, your next ICANN diet will be success. Mark it. Congratulations to you in advance, actually.
Thank you very much, Joe. My story is actually a very pathetic one. I started the ICANN journey since 2011 when I graduated from school. I met my husband in ICANN class. We are married, we have children. He qualified after we married. I continued to work, I continued to do everything, but I never went back to write it since I failed it in 2011. But I will always go for lectures. I've paid for thousands of lectures. That's before this whole online thing started. I will always go for lectures. At some point, work was like a village people matter in my life. They will say I should be coming to work on Saturday. So I would miss lectures. And because I'm on the playful, lazy side, my husband bought Blackboard. He even decided to be teaching me. Now lie. So I'm yet again back and I'm hoping, I'm praying that. So now it has now become a problem because everywhere I go, I'm an accountant. I have experience, a lot of like 10 years experience. But they keep asking, how come you have not written? Like someone even told me in an interview that you are a disgrace to Yabatek. That one is still paying me till now. So I keep finding out that it's like everywhere I go, I can't make the kind of money I need to make because I don't have the ICANN, even with all the experience. So it's like it keeps taking me back there that I go and do this thing. I've not done this thing. This is becoming embarrassing. But I don't feel that I have the wherewithal. When I was single, I couldn't do it. I feel it. Is it now that I have children, that I have responsibilities at work, and it's just
do you believe in prophecy? I just prophesy into your life.
I believe that one now. That one is already working now.
Is a goal for you, my sister. Next diet is a goal for you. All you just need to do is intensify on your effort. And
Yeah.
I think at this point, you need to also pray. Like
Yeah.
my director said, we are going to do 50%, you are going to do 50%. But at this point, see what we are doing as 50% and ready to complement it with 1000% of your effort. I wish you all
Yeah.
the best. Don't mind that
Thank you so much.
person. Yabatel students are known to be the best, and you are the best. Don't let ICANN limit you. You can, and that's why you are here. Let that
Yeah.
will go for you. Congratulations in
Yeah.
advance. Have
Thank
a
you very
good thank you.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Taiwo, your question. Your hand is up. Unmute yourself, please, Taiwo. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So my question is
Good
this: I
afternoon.
want to make inquiry. How many times can someone make payments for the tutorial? Like, what's the percentage? Like, if it's just 2 times, what's the percentage and all? That's my question.
Mr. Ridwan, are you there? Mr. Ridwan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, please, can you help him with a swift response? Thank you.
Well, I didn't hear the question. I just came in now.
Okay, so his question is, at ICANN Online Tutors, what's our
Yeah.
mode of payment? Do we allow two installments, or how do you pay? Is it once? Is it twice? Can we do 3 times? Or can we even not pay at all? So that's what you want to know. Thank you.
I think that part is not paying at all. I think we can do
Never.
that on the account of Mr. Hafiz.
No problem. No problem. I think next diet I must do something to give that back to society.
yes.
I've
You
been
must
doing
give. You
that.
must give.
I've
You
been
must
doing
give.
that,
You
but
must
I'll
give
do
them
it under
scholarship.
yes, ICANN online platform. Honestly speaking, I have to do
Yes.
that. Thank you for
Yes.
that.
You need that, sir. So, Mr. Taiwo, can you chat us privately, because we do this only case by case, depending on the number of papers you are enrolling for. That's how we do this. So there's no definite answer, maybe yes or no. It depends on the everyone's situation. So kindly contact admin to know more about this. Thank you. So, Mr. Hafiz.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So
For my
I
for
think
my
we
part,
have.
so I think we can bring the session to an end. I
Okay.
must say I enjoyed sorry that our participants also have a good experience of our ICANN online tutors. Thank you to everyone, and it's a pleasure to have every one of us here. For those of us that we are just starting ICANN, see it as a journey that you can complete. For those of us that have been finding it difficult to pass on into exam, see it as a journey that has been completed. And congratulations to all of us in advance. Thank you and God bless.